I have in front of me here a Diplex wall plate for both TV aerial and satellite. It comes in this outer pack here, which should just move out of focus now. And inside we find the main event, which is the wall plate here, and this little pack of screws, which is actually used for just mounting it directly onto a wall mount that would have, it's pretty standardized format. So what's the purpose of this? Well, the purpose is quite interesting. It's for taking a single cable that inside it has a combined satellite and terrestrial feed and splitting it out into two feeds here. So if we come along, we'll see we have this and it's marked UHF, VHF. So it could be used for radio or TV, but normally it's been used coming off a UHF aerial that will be giving you something like either Sairview or Freeview. And this here is a satellite which would be taking a feed for either free to air or Sky, something like this. So we want to have both of these. Typical application would be where we have a combo box with, say, terrestrial and satellite feeds, and we're running it directly down. Now if we just rotate this unit over, if we look in the back, we'll see the point that I said about a single cable coming in. So what we have is we'd have combined satellite and terrestrial signal coming in through this single cable. And if we went to wire it, I'm just going to display it here now, I've paired down the top of this cable. And what we do is we just simply slide it through like this. And what we do is we'd lock this in and we'd lock this into position. So the core wire is here and the earth wires on the outside is here. We lock it in and this is feeding that single cable directly in. Don't know if you can pick up on that. So that's good. So I'll just remove that cable for a second. We'll just come back to the front. And what we can do then is we can split it back out. Now you can see this is reversible this way. And if we rotate it over, still we have writing on the right way around. So the coaxial cable would be using a coaxial connector such as this. So that'll be running your UHF signal. And this here is an F-type connection, which would normally be using whether satellite or Sky. Okay? So those two are the outputs. So an interesting question it would be, well, how would you have a scenario where you'd have the terrestrial and the satellite combined into a single cable, and why would you do this? Well, it can be a very common issue where people will say, want to install a combo box into a room and they discover there's only one cable on the wall and they don't want to run a second cable down. It is possible to take a satellite and a terrestrial signal and feed it into one. And I'll just quickly demonstrate two options you'd have for doing this that we sell here on Free TV. So the first thing would be a very simple solution here where you take a satellite feed, you feed it in here, a feed then from your UHF aerial feed it in here. It combines the signal into one, and so you can run both signals down a single cable, and you use the faceplate on the far end to split them back out. Now a more complicated and high-end way of doing this is using something called a multi-switch. It's not overly common here in Ireland or the UK. What we'd be doing here is we'd be taking a feed from a Quattro LMB and a satellite TV aerial, and we'd be able to feed it then off to multiple rooms. In this case, we'll say I think it's an 8-way output on it, all coming off a single dish with a combined terrestrial feed inside it. This is normally used for, we'll say, commercial setups like hotels, nursing homes, very large expensive houses, things like this would use a solution because it's a very neat solution. So that's just generally the way we've combined the figure. Now the one thing to note on this is an unscreened combiner. There's another version of this which will split the signal out, which is a much larger unit on it. It's more expensive and it's a screen version. But these actually work extremely well. Like we've tested these on our own multi-switch setup here in our factory, and it works lovely, you know, in terms of both the picture quality and levels that we've tested, worked extremely well. But there is a slightly higher end version of these, but you know, these have very wide applications that are very, very popular. So that's it anyway, an overview of a diplexed satellite and terrestrial wall plate available on freetv.ie.